I'm Laura Scorr. I'm a neurologist at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia, and I specialize in movement disorders with a special focus on dystonia. And I actually had some special fellowship training on dystonia and clinical research on dystonia that was supported by the DMRF, so I'm really grateful for that. I currently spend about half of my time seeing patients and half of my time doing clinical research. And my focus, both in clinic and research, is really on dystonia. One of my career goals is to try to better understand disease mechanisms in dystonia, which I think will be really helpful clinically in developing better treatments for these patients.
Okay. And my name is Katya Lohmann. I'm a basic scientist, more specifically a molecular geneticist by training. And I'm an associate professor at the Institute of Neurogenetics at the University of Lübeck in northern Germany. And the institute is led by Christine Klein, who was also the supervisor of my PhD thesis, in which I worked on myoclonus dystonia. And this was is more than 20 years ago. And since then, I have been working on several genetic forms of dystonia, trying to shed light on why so many people are affected by this disease, especially children, but also to better understand the molecular mechanisms behind, and also to understand why some of the mutation carriers, so people with really pathogenic variants, don't get this disease. And we are hoping that this will help us to at the end develop new treatments, because this is probably really a key to treat patients, to understand what endogenous disease protection means and how this can be translated. So our project is entitled Role of the Immune System in Dystonia, and this is really a new field that has not yet been detailed. And it builds on a bunch of preliminary data that was generated on both of our sites independently, and it really has some observation-based hypotheses. And over the past years, it has increasingly become clear that the immune system not only plays a role in fighting against viruses and bacteria, but also plays a role in neurological diseases such as multiple sclerosis or Alzheimer's or Parkinson's disease. And we would like now to take a systematic medium throughput approach by looking at the genetic makeup, so basically identifying genetic risk variants in patients with cervical dystonia, as well as on the activity of certain immune response markers on the single cell level. And we expect to see some pattern that differentiates patients from controls, from healthy individuals. And we hope that this will teach us also something about therapeutic approaches that we can take, because the immune system at some parts can be targeted.
Yes, and I think just sort of jumping off what Katya was saying, one of the real challenges in the field is that we just don't have a complete understanding of what causes dystonia in the majority of cases. So as Katya mentioned, there are a number of genetic mutations that we know can cause it, but the vast majority of cases are idiopathic. And so we know, as she said, that there must be other factors involved. And we really think that one of them that has potential to be involved are these immune mechanisms, in particular, maybe immune mechanisms mediated by certain immune cells. And we think perhaps in some cases that may play a role in the cause of dystonia and also play a role in modifying some of these genetic factors that predispose people to dystonia, or vice versa. We're also going to look maybe at how the genetic factors or patients that carry these genes associated with causing dystonia may have differences in their immune system characteristics. And as Katya said, certainly if we find that to be the case, this might open the door to new diagnostic and therapeutic strategies for our patients.